Good morning. Let's begin by honoring Black History Month with a clip of the Tuskegee Airmen.
The Tuskegee Airmen were the first group of African American aviators to serve in the United States Armed Forces. And while they were discriminated against both within and outside of the Army, they are known today as some of the best pilots of World War II. During World War II, Black Americans in many U.S. states were still subject to the Jim Crow laws, and the American military was racially segregated, as was most of the federal government. When he was running for a third term as U.S. President in 1940, Franklin D. Roosevelt promised to allow blacks to become military pilots. The War Department agreed to do that, but with the understanding that the black military pilots would be trained on a segregated basis and serve in their own segregated units. The Tuskegee program began officially in June 1941 with the 99th Pursuit Squadron at the Tuskegee Institute and Air Base. The unit consisted of 47 officers, 429 enlisted men, and was backed by an entire service arm. Tuskegee was chosen as the place for the first black military pilot training because Tuskegee Institute had already been training black civilian pilots. Tuskegee Institute lobbied for the contract to operate a primary flight school for black pilots. The region had more days of good flying weather than any other part of the country, and the area already had a segregated environment which was consistent with the segregated training. The name Tuskegee Airmen applied to not only the men who flew the fighter planes, but also the navigators, bombardiers, mechanics, instructors, crew chiefs, nurses, cooks, and other support personnel for the pilots. By April 1943, the 99th were finally considered ready for combat and were shipped out to Paris. By the end of February 1944, more graduates were ready for combat, and the all-black 332nd Fighter Group had been sent overseas with 3 fighter squadrons, the 100th, the 301st, the 302nd, and later to join the 99th. The 332nd Fighter Group was the only black fighter group, and it was the only one to have 4 squadrons instead of 3. That gave it more pilots and more airplanes than the average fighter group. The 99th Fighter Squadron flew 577 missions before joining the 332nd Fighter Group, and the 332nd Fighter Group flew 914 missions for a total of 1,491 combat missions flown by the Tuskegee Airmen. One of the major achievements that made the Tuskegee Airmen so popular was their good bomber protection rate, only losing a total of 27 bomber planes throughout their squadron's career, compared to the average 47 from other squadrons. Flying escort for heavy bombers, the 332nd earned an impressive combat record. The Allies called these airmen Red Tails, or Red Tail Angels, because of the crimson red paint on the tail of their planes. Today, with close to 300 airmen still alive, the Tuskegee Airmen are remembered in countless pop culture television shows and movies. And while the history books may not show much detail to their significance during World War II, they will always be remembered as the men who changed flying for colored people forever.
Born June 15th of 1964. He has carried the strong tradition of singing and writing gospel music since childhood. In 2009, he came on as a minister of music for Mount Zion, and he has been the main proponent for the creation and growth of music and arts known as the Impact Ministry. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the conductor.
Good morning, Mount Zion. It's Reverend Sean. I want to say thank you for the love and support that you continue to give to our children and youth ministry. I am so proud to introduce to you Letters to Our Ancestors. Letters to Our Ancestors is a collection of letters that our youth have written to African American men and women who paved the way for us to be where we are. It reminds me of what my grandfather would say, that if you see a turtle on a fence post, one thing you know is that he did not get there by himself. Instead, someone helped him to get where he was. In the same sense, someone has helped each and every one of us to get to the place where we find ourselves today. Our youth have decided to write letters to those African men and women who helped us to get where we are. I'm asking that you would support our youth by purchasing Letters to Our Ancestors. The cost is only $8, and the book will be in our bookstore for the entire month of February. Please show your love and support to our youth by buying this book. Again, the cost is $8. It'll be in our bookstore, and we know you're going to help out. Thank you, Mount Zion, again, for always encouraging our children and our youth and helping them to be spiritually connected, socially conscious, smart, and cultured. Until next time, peace.
Youth Pastor Sean would like to meet all parents today after the 10 a.m. service.
Up on the second floor.
The NAACP will sponsor an education forum on Saturday, February 11th from 11 to 1 p.m. at the Enoch Davis Center located on 18th Avenue South.
Parents, please join us to discuss your students' progress in the Southside Community Schools at the Enoch Davis Center from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Child care will be provided and transportation will be provided. You may call to register at 727-336-5295.
Dinner is ready.
If you have not called to reserve your dinner,
Remember, this Wednesday night is family night.
bring the whole family to Bible study. Have dinner with us.
We will have spaghetti dinners available from 5 p.m. to 6:15 for a $5 donation.
So call church to reserve your plate.
And invite your family and friends to join us.
This month we are focusing on the core value, love unconditionally.
Attention all dancers, mime, and flag. The Warriors of Praise Mime Ministry invites you to attend the Panay Mime Ministries Desperate for Him Mega Mime and Dance Conference in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, April 27th through April 30th.
If you are interested in learning how to minister or to perfect your craft in the sacred art of dance, mime, and our flag,
Then, this is the conference for you.
You will leave this conference full of the Word, confidence, skills, and the Holy Spirit. Come experience an amazing move of God.
For more information, please contact Sister Stephanie Gottlieb in the West Overflow at the 10 a.m. worship service or by phone at 542-7837.
The YouVersion Bible app helps me to stay focused every day, whether it's a year devotional, a 30-day devotional. Like right now, to start the playoffs, I did a Finding God at the Workplace. There's nothing better than when I wake up in the morning, I just grab my phone, log onto the app, and I can read it before I get out of bed.
To start your day off, that's one of the things I do. I have a reminder that goes off at 6:30. Boom, Patrick, read the scripture of the day. It's just a really unique way to kind of dig into the Word.
Today's sermon notes can be found in the Bible app.
Thanks for joining us today
Remember to connect with us online
at mzprogressive.org.
or find us on YouTube or Facebook.
Have a blessed week, and we will see you Wednesday at Family Night.